Welcome back to 4K Films Canada. In today's video, we're going to go through my top 25 movies of the 90s. This is a Tim Talks Talkie video for his community poll of the top 25 90s movies. I already sent him my list on Instagram, but I also wanted to share it with you guys. So let's get started on my top 25. So before we get started, unfortunately, I do not have a physical representation of all of them in my top 25, which is sad because they're in your top 25. You should have them. But unfortunately, I do not have them yet. So I'll have photos of them instead. But 25 is Blade. Now, after I made my list and sent it to Tim, I noticed I missed a lot of good movies that probably were higher than this, admittedly. Like, I love this movie, but admittedly, there probably should have been some above it, even on my list. But I didn't want to change it, so Blade definitely is one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. I love the darkness, I love the atmosphere of this movie, the blood dance scene at the beginning of the movie, the secret nightclub, was very eye-opening, because before this movie I was used to, MCU type movies before watching this. So there's always more, like Iron Man, the Hulk, or some of the darker movies of the MCU. So I'm kind of used to those. But once you get into like the Avengers movie, more comedic moments in it, and this is kind of like opened my eyes and say, whoa, Marvel does have some darker stuff in it. Like, then I watched The Punisher and our old Daredevil movie. But yeah, this still is the best of that era of Marvel. Definitely saved Marvel movies when they're going bankrupt. So it's an awesome movie. I love this movie. And it's number 25 on my list. Number 24, I unfortunately do not have physically. I actually did, but I sold it because I thought the 4K was coming out, but it never did. And that is From Dusk Till Dawn. That's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I know it's not the best, but it has some... But I really enjoy watching it. I love the vampire scenes. I love the dance scene. I love the action beginning of it. Just so many great moments of that movie. It starts off as more of an action movie. It turns into a horror movie with vampires. I love it very much. It definitely is a nostalgic pick for me, but I do love that movie. 23 is from The Fifth Element. One of my favorite sci-fi movies of the 90s, maybe even of all time. It's been a while since I've seen it, to be honest. I definitely need to get that 4K, but I'm trying to find it with the slipcover instead of print, so pretty expensive. But yeah, The Fifth Element, I love that movie. I love Bruce Willis in that movie. It has great performances. It has pretty good special effects for the time. And it's a fun movie, and it's from the same director as Leon the Professional, which did not make my list, but it's a pretty good movie as well. But this one of my favorite sci-fi movies, like I said, so I had to put it at number 23 on the list. So number 22 is Donnie Brasco. I love Johnny Depp in this movie. It is a very good performance from him. Him and Al Pacino are actually really good together, which I wasn't fully expecting because I was used to Johnny Depp before watching this more as Captain Jack Sparrow. So I thought that would be kind of a weird mashup, but they actually did very good together. Johnny Depp's actually a very talented actor, sorry. But when I was younger, I was only really familiar with him through his more comedic roles in Pirates of the Caribbean, which he's a great actor in that as well, but I'm not used to his more serious roles, like even in Public Enemies. Shout out to that movie. I actually really enjoyed that movie as well. His performance in that is another very good serious role. But yeah, Johnny Brasco, excellent movie, based on real life, great performances, great cinematography. Definitely, I know a lot of people like that movie, but it's definitely underrated when it comes to 90s gangster movies. So it's number 22 on my list. Number 21, I don't have physically yet. I have it being shipped to me currently. It's just a DVD though, but It is 4 rooms. I just love the atmosphere of that movie. The 4 rooms being directed by all different directors. And Tim Roth is very good and has a very good performance in that movie. I love Tim Roth in that movie. Very good. And it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm definitely excited to check it out again. But I definitely had to give it a spot on my list at number 21. It definitely deserves it. Definitely not talked about enough. And I'm hoping for a 4K box set from Arrow Video of it. Maybe one day, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Number 20 is Uncovered. This is a very, very underrated movie. I absolutely love it. Very early performance from Kate Beckinsale. It is based on a book. Performance in this are hit and miss. The story is very good. The twist in this movie is very good. It had me shocked, and I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't seen it. And I'm hoping Lionsgate will put out a Blu-ray or a 4K of this shortly. Number 19 on the list is 10 Things I Hate About You. This movie is like a coming-of-age story, comedy, kind of came out around the same time as American Pie and numerous other teen comedies. But this one, in my opinion, is probably the best one of that era. And it's on the same level as almost, in many ways, in my opinion, of The Breakfast Club. Not the same story, but I know, but same level of as a comedy, in my opinion. And it's just a phenomenal movie. I really wish I did have it in my collection. I regret not, but yeah, I love the movie. The great story. Heath Ledger is very good in this movie. All of them are very good in this movie. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't. A lot of people love this movie. Very popular movie of the 90s. So yeah, that's why it's on my list at number 19. 18, I'm going to probably butcher the name, is Johnny McMonick. I think I butchered it. I think I said okay, maybe let me know. But yeah, that movie, I watched for the first time last year, 2022, on Netflix. And wow, it's super crazy. The story, it's pretty cheesy. It's a bit crazy, but I loved it. I absolutely loved that movie. It's definitely my favorite sci-fi movie of the 90s for sure. But I had a lot of fun with it, and I definitely enjoyed the movie a lot. So I'll put it in my top 25 list. Number 18, this Blu-ray, at least in Canada, the Canada version is out of print. And you can't get a hold of it unless you want to pay like $60, which is above my price range. But hopefully it will get a 4K release one day, because I think it would look good on 4K. 17 on my list is Speed. Of course, this is a very good 90s action movie. Like, it's phenomenal. The performances are all good. The action sequences are top notch. Has you on the edge of your seat the entire movie. Has you anxious. It's just a very good made action movie. Lots of fun. High quality action. 90s action. Some of the best action of all time in the 90s. So number 16 might be a bit of a surprise, but that is A League of Their Own. This movie I've seen bits and pieces of on TV, but I never really paid attention to it. But yeah, this movie, when I actually rewatched it when I got the Columbia Classic set, it was surprising how good this movie actually was. It's based on a true story, which I didn't know previously. Tom Hanks is amazing in this movie. What's her name? Gina Davis, Madonna. The story is very good. This movie is very well put together. Performances are good. I just love this movie. Heartwarming. It's a very important movie, I think, in history, so I love it. So number 15 on my list. It is an underrated movie in my opinion, and I definitely want this to be in the Columbia Classics volume eventually, one of the volumes. But that's Bugsy. This movie is absolutely beautifully shot, great cinematography, great performances. Like, they're underrated actors, like not the most popular actors in it. But it's a beautiful movie, and definitely could warrant a 4K copy. You know, has 10 Academy Awards nominations back in 1991. It's just an amazing movie. I love this movie. It's a gangster drama. If you don't know who Bugsy is, he's the one that found Las Vegas, the modern day casinos, Las Vegas. So it's a very important time time period. So hopefully one day this will get an HD copy. Number 14 on the list is Jackie Brown. This is a very good movie. I love this movie. It's Quentin Tarantino's third movie. I actually do enjoy it. All the performances are good. Like, hey, top 25, of course, performances can be good. But yeah, this movie, very underrated for Quentin Tarantino's filmography. I just love the story of it, the double cross, triple cross type story. It's a very enjoyable movie and it doesn't get talked about enough, so that's why I put it in my number 14. Number 13 I do not have, but it's LA Confidential. Man, that movie is absolutely stunning visually. It's stunning story, like the story's amazing in it, performances, the twist in the movie, it's a very good movie. I love that movie very much, and it definitely needs a 4K. Number 12 on the list is The Unusual Suspects. I definitely need to pick up that Kino Lorber 4K. Hopefully the slipcover, I can still get the slipcover. I've heard it's out of print though, so that kind of sucks ass. But yeah, The Unusual Suspects, phenomenal movie, phenomenal ending. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but definitely watch this movie. Don't watch reviews. Don't watch any trailers. Just go in and watch it. Blow your mind. Like, the first time watch it is like the best time to watch. Like, the first viewing is the best viewing. So yeah, definitely go watch it. You'll love it. I highly regard this movie, and number 12 on the list. So number 11 on the list is another gangster movie that everybody should know and love, and that is Casino. This is a Martin Scorsese movie. Some people say it's better than Goodfellas, and to be honest, I could make that argument as well. I do love this movie as well, but I've only seen it maybe once or twice, so I didn't put it that higher on the list just because I haven't seen it quite as much as other movies. But yeah, this is a good movie. I definitely recommend it. Great performances, great story. It's an awesome movie. I don't remember a lot of it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do love it very much. 10. And my top 10 is full of mostly nostalgic picks. This is not going to be everyone else's top 10. It's not going to be everyone else's top 25. It's my list. But yeah, top 10, very nostalgic based. So let's get into my top 10. The first one, love it or hate it, is Independence Day. So this is a big part of my childhood growing up. It's one of the first adult movies that I've seen after watching, getting transferred into more live action adult based movies. It's one of the first ones. So it's definitely a big part of my childhood, very part of my love for movies. Very nostalgic. That speech though, for that reason alone, it should be in the top 10 list. But yeah, it's an amazing movie. I love it. Nostalgic based. Will Smith is good in this movie. Like again, I said, that speech. Goosebumps every time. But it's amazing. Well, number 9 on the list, I don't have again, but it's another one that I used to watch as a kid at around the same time as Independence Day, and that is True Lies. One of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. That dance scene with Jamie Lee Curtis was definitely an eye catcher when I was a kid. But yeah, that movie, I haven't seen it in a little while now, but I love that movie. Very nostalgic based. The action in it, the horse through the mall scene, jumping from the elevator. Oh my gosh, I love that movie. So many great moments. Definitely very fun and very good action movie of the 90s. Number 8, another nostalgic pick, another one of those movies around the same time when I was getting into the live action adult stuff, is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Like all these movies I was probably watching probably when I was like 6, 7, 8, in that time. That's when I first watched all these movies, and I've grown up with them ever since. So yeah, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Watched this on TV. The last two my parents had on VHS, but yeah, this one was just TV, so some of the bad language was not in it. And the chemistry with Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. It's phenomenal. One of the best action movies of all time. It's just super nostalgic pick, but I love it. The dump truck scene was one of my favorites. And also that Dodge Ram pickup truck that they were driving at that scene. That was like my favorite truck of all time when I was a kid. In my dreams, I'd be driving it around the town and around the city. I'd be doing those stunts in the truck, jumping off the bridge and whatever. But yeah, that was part of my dreams as a kid. I love it. Very nostalgic pick. Number 7 on the list. People are going to think I'm a bit crazy, but again, it's another nostalgic-based pick. And that is The Lost World. The Lost World. Again, I grew up with this one more than the original as a kid. I watched it a lot more. The San Francisco scene was amazing. And I had nightmares of the T-Rex attacking the house. And it was like a reoccurring dream, like every night for like months and months. I'd have that dream, but I loved the movie, so I didn't care about the nightmares. I loved the movie. I watched it over and over again. Very nostalgic pick. And I just loved that movie. Rewatching them all, I definitely recognize the original as the best in the series. But nostalgically, I still love this one. And it definitely is in my top 10 for that reason. Number 6 on the list is one I watched the first time more recently. A couple years ago, maybe 2019 maybe. And that is Forrest Gump. Great performance from Tom Hanks. Excellent story. It's an amazing story. Like, it's an iconic movie. Won Best Picture in 1994. I love it. It is just all around perfect movie. Number 5. Now, in the top 5, it's going to be a bit biased, maybe, I could say. But yeah, number 5 is Reservoir Dogs. This movie is excellent, especially for Quentin Tarantino, being Quentin Tarantino's first movie. The performances, the storytelling, the action. There's brief action scenes, but they're all great. The dialogue, everything's perfect about this movie. I love it. The ear scene is iconic. It's in my top 5 for a reason. Like, I just love this movie. Number 4, again, is True Romance. True Romance, it's written by Quentin Tarantino, but directed by Tony Scott. Has great performances, has Samuel Jackson, Christopher Walken, Brad Pitt, Gary Oldman, Val Kilmer, Dennis Hopper, Kristen Slater, and Patricia Arquette. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, I'm not going to lie. But everyone does excellent in this movie. The performances, the action, the set pieces, it's all phenomenal. I love this movie. It's like, the end scene reminds me a lot of Django in many ways. And honestly, I kind of prefer this one a little bit, just because it's a love story at heart. And I love the romance in this movie, but also it's full of action as well. 3 is, of course, The Goodfellas. It's been quite a while since I've actually seen this movie, I'm not going to lie. But I remember just absolutely loving it. Like, it has iconic scenes, iconic dialogue, quotable moments. Ever since I was little, I always wanted to be a gangster. That was awesome. Like, am I something funny? Did I say something funny? You're laughing at me? Oh, I can't, I'm not the best with quotes. But you know the quotes if you watch this movie. It's phenomenal. So that's why it's in my top 3. I definitely need to rewatch it though. It's been way too long. Number 2 on the list, give me 2 seconds, is obviously Jurassic Park. Of course. One of the best. It's like, this movie's so iconic in history for changing the action popcorn flick where it could be. Like, it's just such a big piece of history for that. Like, it's amazing. It's very well put together. The acting, the story, the performances, the set pieces. The CGI might not be the best now, might not fully hold up, but it's a lot better than Godzilla from 1998, and this is 1993. So for that reason alone, it should be in anyone's top 10, and it's in my second place. Now, number 1 is not only my favorite movie of the 90s, but my favorite movie of all time, and that is Pulp Fiction. Now, the reason this is my top movie is just because the impact it had on my love for movies. Like before, I'd only really watch Marvel movies and some comedies and Fast and the Furious. Those are like my bread and butter. It's a couple of gangster movies I used to watch as well, like The Untouchables, Usual Suspects, The Godfather. I even watched Jaws back then as well. Jurassic Park, for example. Some other good movies. But this one is what changed my whole thought of what movie could be. Like the way the story is not in order, the performances. Samuel Jackson instantly became my favorite actor after watching this. It's just an amazing movie. It's perfect, and that's why it's my top movie of all time. I absolutely love it. And yeah, so Pulp Fiction, number 1. So that is my top 25 movies of the 90s. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you check out Tim Talks Talkies when he does his live stream. I believe it is April the 8th. Make sure you check that out. It'll be great to see everyone's list combined into one definitive list and see the results. I know a lot of mine might not make the list just because they're nostalgia based and kind of odd choices, but I love to see everyone else's choices as well. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day.